What up? Welcome to Trading Unfiltered.
What's
Big
going on,
fella.
man?
All good. All good. It's a glorious day, glorious weekend, and we're going to do something a little different today. We're going to talk about, we have never talked about this actually, because since we've been doing this, the market's been pretty hot for the most part. Like, I've not been one to complain about market conditions until maybe the last week or so.
Same here, man.
Today we're going to do something a little different, but let's do this intro thing and just dive right in.
Hit it.
All right. All right. Well, let's hear it because I know you got some things to talk about on this one. Like he's got some good stuff.
Yeah, man. Decent stuff. A little different than what we usually talk about. I just kind of wanted to kick it off with saying, like, in the past, when things have gotten slow in small caps like they are right now, we don't have a whole lot of gappers, not that many paras. In the past, I would tend to push it even harder in these times, and I feel like that's probably like a noob thing, but I think a lot of people tend to do it. And I would wind up giving back all of my profits, or blowing an account, or just getting in some kind of bad situation that could be really preventable, easily preventable, if you just have something else to do. And I mean, let's face it, like, I've listened to other podcasts and things like that with some people that say things like, "Oh, I don't really love trading. I just do this for to try to make money or whatever." But man, like, and I know we both love to trade.
Love it.
I love trading.
Love it.
I mean, I'm at my desk every day. I don't care if I don't take a trade. I'm gonna be at my desk.
Yeah, like I love just observing the markets, and I also love something as simple as like Saturday or Sunday morning, coming up here early when the house is quiet, everybody's asleep, got my coffee, and I'm just grinding, whether it's on some data or some setups or trade review or whatever. Dude, I love it.
Me
Freaking
too,
love it.
man. Me too. And I mean, I do. Like, there's not a day, there's not an hour of a day that goes by that I'm not thinking about trading in some form or fashion. And I mean, people could say, "Oh, you're just you're too addicted or whatever," but I don't care. Like,
Yep.
I've had family and friends that make comments about it. Forget them. Like, don't worry about it. If they don't like it, then they don't have to be a part of it.
If you really want to get good at this game, you got to grind to some degrees, and we've talked about it a lot. That you got to grind, but I'm also a big, proponent of like balance and enjoying the fruits of your labor and enjoying the fact that we got into this for time. But there are times when you just got to grind, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, you've got to be obsessed. If you're not obsessed, you're not. There's no way you're gonna be successful. I mean,
Too
somebody
hard.
might be. If you are and you're not, if you're a great trader and you're not obsessed, then tell me I'm a dumbass. But I'm obsessed. I'm not the greatest trader ever, but striving to be better every day. And
Well, I think 2021 or 2020 even spoiled a lot of people who weren't obsessed, but just literally could buy anything and it went higher.
yeah, man.
But
And then people got into trading in those times, and
yeah,
I wasn't you know much before that time. I've talked about it in other videos before, but like, my first ever market experience was in 2017,
right.
and that was just with buying some crypto and just got really lucky,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
being shocked off a few $1,000 investment and make a killing, and that was the time I just got lucky.
Yep.
But I didn't get serious until like 2019. Then 2020 happened.
Yep.
Um,
2020, 2021, things were hot. 2022 slowed down, but still, comparatively to normal market years, was hot. I will fight anybody that says otherwise because I've seen other markets. 2022 offered plenty.
yes,
Uh,
it did.
in the first few months of 2023, I would say the same. Now, the last couple of weeks, things have slowed down. We're getting into the summer, springtime, and things tend to slow down, and we may see a slowdown. So, the whole purpose of this video is to address how you handle that slowdown in what you do. So,
Exactly.
so what have you been doing to handle the slowdown, and what are you going to do?
So, like I said, I'm at my desk a lot during the day, and um, so I branched out a little bit. I've been playing with some futures and learning them, and I started off just trading one micro E-mini contract. Uh, with I'm not going to name any brokers, but there's some brokers. It doesn't take much money. You can play around with it. I mean, you can leverage up extremely high and blow your account in a second.
Mhm.
But there's also a lot of opportunity to grow it exponentially because of the leverage if you know what you're doing. Um, but just my whole point is find something else to look at so that you're not just slapping buttons on subpar setups or something just completely out of your wheelhouse. Just you know, rando gambling on whatever, which is I might have done it a little bit last week, but like I said, used to, I would let times like these destroy me.
Right. So I think it's interesting though how we're handling the slow time. Like you're handling the slower time by branching out and learning an entirely new skill when it comes to trading, right? Like futures is vastly different from large cap, small cap. It's vastly different from everything.
It is.
Um, so that's interesting because you're doing that. And then me, actually let me show you. I'll pull it up. I'll show you what I do during slow times. Because it is we're handling the slow times differently. So one thing I've been doing to handle the slow times.
That's right.
Nah, I mean I'm kidding. I do love that game. But seriously, what I do during slow times, I'll be honest. I dabble with large caps a little bit, not a lot. I typically stay in my niche because I've found success there for the last 4 or 5 years consecutively. So typically what I do during slow time is we've talked about this before. We're largely discretionary, but we do love our data. I love data. I love Excel and I use it religiously. So one thing that I get into pretty hard during slow times, and this is a screen that looks just like a jumbled mess. But the short of it is this is not a jumbled mess. This is a ton of data, rows and rows and rows and columns and columns and columns of data. That gives me a whole lot of unrefined information, if you will. So, what I'm doing during slow times is I'm digging into that data, trying to further refine my edge in small caps, or find a new edge, or maybe find a new setup, or further increase. For example, so one thing we kept talking about in one of our more recent trade recaps is we were experimenting, or not experimenting. That's a bad word, but we're dabbling a bit more into. I was playing some large caps last week on some things, or I was trading a bit more in pre-market. That's something I normally don't do, but during these slow times, I'm working harder to maybe find an edge in those areas because I have the time to do that. And especially if you're a full time trader, like if you're full time and you sit here all day long and your setups aren't there, like you said, you could push a ton of buttons and lose a bunch of money or burn a bunch of mental capital. But if setups aren't there, I'm digging into data to try to refine current edge because everything cycles, right? Like the setups that are working now might not work next year, but the setups that worked 2 years ago might start working again. So, like, I never throw setups away. Maybe they take a back seat, but there's never a bad time to further refine those setups. So, for me, that's how I handle slow time.
I like that. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I'm digging into data. We're not system traders, but I love data. I love using data to help influence decisions. And I have sheets and sheets and sheets of either stuff I've pulled from Spike Heat, manually tracked data, historical data, old charts. There's plenty to do. Plenty to do. You could spend, I mean, there's guys that dedicate, you know, uh, Day Trading Zoo, Go,
Burma.
yeah, Verma, Go Shank, Go Shock Trades, however you say his name. I mean, those guys are data driven guys, and they spend 90% of their time on data and maybe 10% of their time on more systematic trades. But I guess I'm only saying that to say there's plenty to do with data. So for me, it's that. And for you, you're learning an entirely new skill. Nothing wrong with either one. But both of those things are making us not push buttons. And I think that's the key, right? Like we're not just randomly pushing a bunch of damn buttons.
Yep. And I mean, mine might not sound great because I'm still pushing buttons, but I'm not risking a ton. I've been learning, for a
You've been
little
on
while now.
futures for a while now, but I will say, I've told you that I think it's awesome you're learning futures because when small caps are dead in futures, there's always liquidity in futures, opportunities in futures, one little point in futures, a lot of money, especially if you have more than a couple contracts. I mean, futures don't split. What are you off on Sundays in futures?
But say that again. You were kind of cutting out.
What days are you off in on futures? Is it Sundays,
Saturdays.
Saturdays?
Yeah.
And it's limited hours.
Yeah, and it starts back up Sunday for us in about 4 minutes.
Yeah,
But
futures don't.
I'm not like
Yeah. But
I'm not
I think it's
just a
cool that
trader.
you're learning futures because it's something drastically different than small caps. But you're taking the time to do it during these slow periods, and if you can get good at both, that could be a deadly combination. Which is awesome.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, like you were talking about Silvis, he trades futures and small caps.
yep. And there's
And that's,
been a lot of people have went on to learn large caps or options or futures. It's good to expand your playbook. I've said for the last year I eventually want to dive into getting better with either large caps or options. I've leaned more towards just large caps because it's still kind of in the equity realm. But
yeah,
anyway, yeah. So we're just individually handling it differently, but we're both handling it. I guess is the point.
yeah, and you know, it doesn't even have to be trade related. Just I know you always feel like you always feel like I gotta be here. I gotta be here, but you really don't. You could always set alerts. You can do whatever.
And I'm glad you said that because you already know me. I will quickly take a day off. I have no qualms about it. I will quickly leave the desk early. Don't care. Like we got into this so we could have time for ourselves and our family also. And sometimes that's forgotten because we get so caught up on the grind. So
Mhm.
yes, during the slow time, there is nothing wrong. Like I got family in town. I'm not trading Monday, Tuesday. I kind of don't like trading, or I kind of miss trading on Monday because it's Monday. But I mean, really, like, I'm not that bothered by it. Like, I'm pretty damn happy about it. So, yeah, man, live life. Definitely live that life. And something I love to do. And I'm just gonna push this button here and show y'all what I love to do. You already know. I like to read.
The books,
Yep.
man. I need to get better on reading. I know it'll help you improve in all kinds of ways in your life, but
I like to read. I got quite a few books that I've read, will read, want to read, whatever. But uh, the one I want to talk about today, it's not a trading book per se. Can definitely, go hand in hand with trading. Everyone knows a lot of people know who Napoleon Hill is, right? Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. That's like might be one of the top 5 biggest selling books of all time. It's a hugely popular book, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. Well, he has another book. It's this one right here. And it is very underrated, but it is an amazing read and it's pretty quick. It's 250 pages roughly. But the reason this is a quick read is I'm just going to show a quick page here. I don't know how well it's going to translate via camera, but I'm going to try.
No, it looks good. It looks real
So
good.
Q&A. The whole thing is a Q&A. Napoleon Hill in this book is interviewing the devil. The whole book, Outwitting the Devil. And he is interviewing the devil, and he gets to ask him any question, and the devil has to answer truthfully. Now, of course, it's all about, success, personal growth, finance, largely involved as well. But a good book. You can tie it into trading, discipline, just mindset. I think the mindset that he's talking about in that book is awesome, and it's just such a unique perspective. Like interviewing the devil, he has to answer truthfully to Napoleon Hill, who at the time and even now is considered one of the brightest minds of all time. So you got somebody like that gets to interview the devil with truthful answers. It's pretty powerful stuff, and it's a pretty quick read. But that's something else I do. I mean, I will sit here at my desk. I'll have the markets up, right? I live by alerts sometimes, especially in Thinkorswim. I got alerts all over my charts. And I'll sit here though and I'll read. And if I hear an alert go off, then boom, like my head pops up. Like I'll take off my scanner, I'll take off trade ideas, and I'll just have Thinkorswim pulled up. And if an alert pops off, cool. If not, I'm reading. But yeah, we ain't gonna push buttons to push buttons.
I like that.
I live and die by some alerts in Thinkorswim. Super easy to set. Maybe that's something we could show how to set alerts in Thinkorswim. Super easy, literally like 3 clicks and you're done.
Oh yeah, man, I've got them going to my phone. I've got them.
Yep.
If I'm not at my desk, if I've got my laptop with me, whatever, I've got them on there. Everything.
Yep. So we might do a little quick short one of these days on how to do that. But anyway, we ain't pushing buttons to push buttons. We handle the slow times differently. Important thing is we handle them.
That's right. And you got to, or it'll destroy you, man. And it might not be the problem. This might not be a problem for everybody. Some people might be extremely disciplined, but like I'm not. I mean, I'm working better to be, but that's why I'm doing other things. I'm still trading small caps when they pop up. If I have a setup that I like, but I know if I'm sitting there staring at it, waiting, I'm prone to push buttons. I'm prone to think like, ooh, this might be, and that's what happens, man.
Yeah, and it's dangerous. And I think my prediction, this is just the prediction. So if I'm wrong, you can tell me all about it. But I do think in 2023, this summer, we could see a slow market. If this bank stuff continues, the market continues, we get closer to an election with everything going on. It just could be a very big time of uncertainty, which is going to create just a lot of chop over a long period of time, which is going to create less gappers, less opportunities. We could see a slow summer. And if people aren't careful, we might see, I hope not, but we might see some people blowing up this summer from boredom or taking some max L's or whatever, because we could see a very different market this summer than we've seen in the last 3 or 4 summers. The last 3 or 4 summers have not been a traditional stock market summer.
Not at all.
This summer, though, we could see that typical summer lull in the markets that we haven't seen for the last few years. So that's my prediction.
I've got something on my phone that I'm trying to remember who made it. I saw it. It's been several years ago. Let me show it real quick. I know I've got it on here. I got it in my favorites. If I would have thought about it, I would have sent it. This right here. And it's just like a little guide. I don't own this, whatever. It's just it was like a little guide from back before, like more traditional times.
Of like an overall macro look of the markets or something.
I mean, yeah, and you probably can't see that.
Yeah, you might have to hold up. If you hold up to your camera for a minute, it might refocus.
I don't have the autofocus on. I'm using that Canon DSLR, but anyway, it's basically it just talks about like, March, April, May, June, but about June is June and July, August, all pretty slow. September traditionally slow start, but low float's starting to pick up. October, things pick up. November,
Right.
usually pretty active, but it's been a lot different here lately.
Yeah, the last few years we've not seen a slow time, in my opinion. Like if you look back into the early 2010s, even uh, slow times, slow summers. We'll see what happens. I don't know. As like I said, that's my prediction. We
Yeah, I
can
mean,
see
and it
a
doesn't
slow
matter.
summer.
It doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
as long as we stay disciplined and just do
Capital
what
preservation is the name of the game.
exactly, man. Like as long as we just do what we're supposed to do, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the
Right.
market does. It doesn't matter how busy it is. Just if it's not moving, we don't do anything.
Right. That's psychology is hugely important. I know I've said you got to find an edge first. I still stand by that. But this is why psychology is equally important once you've found your edge. Maybe more important.
And
Like
I
you got to
think that
continue to refine. But
I think that if you have the right psychology, then finding an edge isn't going to be a problem.
right, it's true. Especially when you're tracking that data, refining that edge, digging. Yeah, it's all a
My
cycle.
my problem has never been finding a true edge or any of that. My problem's always been psychological. Like
Yeah, it's
I'll know
tough,
my
man.
setup, I'll know my entry, I'll know my risk, and then in the heat of the moment, I'm thinking I want to short here, and then I'm like, I could go higher. Let me scalp it long, and then I hit a loss,
Yep.
and and then I fight it. My mentality is all screwed from there on. So that's that
No,
to
you're
me
right,
is
and that's a good point. I mean, you say that, and I think that maybe we could leave with this, but like sometimes the best thing to do is just simply walk away.
yep, yep,
Like walk away, go do anything else but sit at your desk. But yeah, it's different for everybody. But yeah, sometimes you just gotta walk away.
yep, man. Whew,
I know.
a lot.
I know. All right. Well, anyway, this was a little different. We just wanted to touch on some different subject matter because we're getting into a period of time where we might experience some slowness, and you got to be equipped to handle that. And to each their own. Um, but find whatever it is for you. It's futures. For me, it's edge refinement and data, books, whatever. Find what works for you. Shit. Apex. How many days have I texted you and be like, this market sucks. I'm gonna go play Apex.
Yep,
Done
yep,
that quite a few times. And I ain't ashamed of it because if I play Apex, I ain't losing money.
exactly, man. I mean, and I do
Cool.
stuff like that too every now and then. I've tried to get into some games.
Yeah. Kind of my vice from time to time. But anyway, let's we don't want to make this go too long, but yeah, we doing something a little different. Like I said, we've said this in another video, but we'll say it again. We're trying to find some standard times where we can do certain things every day of the week. Maybe like Thursday evening, some trade review, Friday morning, some pre-market prep. We're trying to figure that out. But you said it before, but if y'all have ideas, let us know. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe. I think most importantly for us, comment. Let us know what you do, don't like, so we can adjust going forward. Right? Same
That's
old,
right.
same old.
That's right.
All right, man. Well, I'm gonna go watch March Madness, have some adult beverages, and enjoy the rest of my Sunday evening.
Yep, I'm gonna do the same thing. I just heard my beer delivery get here.
There it is. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all checking us out. Like I said, like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you do, don't like, how you do, don't like us, all that good stuff. And with that, holler at y'all later.
Peace.
Peace, brother.